Hello everyone, MFPallytime here. Welcome back to Divinity Original Sin 2. These two standing back to back is actually pretty poetic at this point. This is the final video of the series. Thank you all for watching. It's been a long road, and it's been a long road that not many of my subscribers have seen, unfortunately. But it's one that I'm still glad that I have taken. Walter the Paladin has grown wings. He is basically the human embodiment of an angel. His shield glows with holy power. He has forsaken his god. He has killed his god.
Please return.
And has fallen, I believe, from what it means to be a paladin. We have also seen him completely take down the order of the paladins by killing their leader, who was corrupt. And on the opposite side, we have Fane, started as a summoner, but then realized that the true power lied in him, picked up a two-hand weapon, and became a monster necromancer, dealing massive amounts of damage with every single swing, whereas Walter is calm, collected, and just full-on bulky, tanky. We see Fane as the melee glass cannon, where rather from healing from his faith, he heals from the blood of his enemies. We are entering the tomb of Lucien. We have worked long and hard to get to this point.
Have you come to join us in the endless prayer?
And we know that Dallas is already inside, or at least made her way here.
Lucien's day wouldn't be the same without the faithful gathering to petition for his return. The more voices that join our cry, the better.
Everyone here is praying for Lucien's return. Hey, me first! Well, she ran ahead of us.
I am pure.
She's bowing before the statue of Lucien, and she was immediately killed.
Something closed the door.
The bewildered ghost stares at her own dead corpse. A single thought emanates from her spirit, that I was pure.
Confront the spirit. There is no shame in imperfection.
The warmth of your good wishes envelops her. She realizes the truth. All is well that can be well. Nothing else matters now. She may leave for the Hall of Echoes.
So she tried to talk to the statue, and the statue will only let you through if you are pure. If you have stolen anything in the game, the statue will not let you through. If you have murdered anyone in the game, I presume the statue will not let you through. Obviously, we do not meet these criteria. But we have items that we have acquired through the act that we can use.
There's a curious-looking panel discreetly nestled upon the wall. Upon it is a lone button.
Take a closer look.
There's a slot above the button. It looks like something should be placed in it.
We can use our amulet that we have filled with source to push it into the slot to open this part.
The amulet fits the slot perfectly. The mechanisms around it begin to glow with source.
With its mechanisms full of source, push the button.
The source fades from the amulet, consumed by the inner mechanisms of the button. You produce the Scroll of Atonement and read it aloud.
This was also given to us by the toy maker.
Gears turn behind the ancient walls, almost like they're acknowledging the words you spoke. A nearby hatch in the floor unseals itself.
Now, presumably, this would also open if you played through the game as a holy person. But of course, you know, I did my best, but I definitely murdered some people that I felt deserved it. We are now inside the tomb
statue reaches toward the bottom
of Lucien. In fact, his tomb is right here before us. Anything this way? There's a bunch of candles. His tomb is here before us.
No sign of Lucien's body.
And his body is nowhere to be seen. We are now greeted with a trial that we must complete in order to move through.
The blessed altar seems to want to be touched.
Lay a hand upon the stone.
The altar seems to respond. Beyond it, something creaks, as if the pipework was moving. The sound comes from beyond the altar, but also echoes and gurgles behind. A blessed stone altar.
Move your
The
hand
cool
and
stone
palms
seems to
with.
beg to be touched. In the space beyond the altar, the pipework shifts.
So, this is a puzzle where we have to connect certain liquids, certain elements, rather, to the end in order to continue from this point. So, in the furthest to the left, we must connect the holy fire. I'll start working on that. And slowly, we see these elements are leaving the starting area, making their way through the various pipes that I have aligned, and they should be, hopefully, colliding right where I want them to go. We do see the blessed fire and the blessed water cups being filled at the end, but the blessed blood still needs to be filled. It's as if our two characters were destined to be together. One can provide the blood rain, and the other has been given the gift from birth to be able to bless things without the use of source. And we see the blessed blood slowly, and we see the blessed blood
The altar
slowly make its way in with the rest of the blessed elements to fill up the final chalice. Just like that. And the tomb of Lucien holds yet another surprise. Not only is the body missing, but it is covering another hatch to lead further downward. Where does this hatch lead? To one of the ancient doors.
Venture no farther. Only death lies beyond. Blood need not be spilled. Bones need not be broken. Preserve thyself and flee.
I will continue, door. You do not rule me.
To cross this threshold is to plunge into thy grave. Do not decide in haste.
I demand passage.
Very well. Embrace thy fate.
Let me in.
Charming.
This is the death room. This is the death room that I believe Arhu told us about. We need to find various levers around the room.
Careful now. That's a trap.
To spell power. Because that, of course, is what the gods were seeking before we slayed them. These guys move. These guys move with some serious intent. Now, we don't necessarily have to find those things right away, because we can kill off these puppets. These are the same puppets that the toy maker made, so we know that their insides are full of source. This source can be drained. At least I thought. At least I thought this source could be drained, and we would be able to do this without being in battle, but it looks like that's not the case. So,
What the hell's just happened?
well, they're...
Pulling a lever invites me.
Oh, I was teleported on Walter. Okay, so we just need to spell out power. The first would be potency here. Now these guys are going to be pulling traps that also put themselves in danger as well. So that is a thing that could happen. In fact, was Fane was teleported over here. So they just moved us both to the other side. Now we do have the ability to fly because of the chess piece that Walter acquired. So I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to fly around. In fact, I can remove both of those source things. I have no intentions of ever using a gift from the gods ever again. Where's my bedroll? We'll put that back. Can't do that in combat, apparently. Did you hit Walter with acid? No, actually, he didn't, but that was still some pretty powerful acid. Let's go ahead and just get rid of him. Let's take him out. Well, that sucks. Can we knock him down? 3,000 damage critical hit. A long branch. So really, I can't just loot their source? I can't suck their source out of them? I wish I knew what each of the switches did. I mean, they used this one, Unity, to teleport me around, right? Or was it this? Was it Tenacious? No, it wasn't Tenacious. Okay, let's buff up Walter. And fly him right over here to hit the first switch. This is P for power.
That lever did something. I could feel it.
Then we need to find the O. I'm not sure these have to be done in order. I have a feeling O's over here. Lawful, Grace. I know I don't have enough AP. Oh my goodness. Merciless, Righteous. Well, there's Wisdom right there. Let's see if I can grab that.
Something happened.
Okay.
I think.
We need O, E, and R. O, E, and R. Fearless. Empathy. Knowledge. Harmony. Oh, jeez. I mean, O could be over on the other side. And it doesn't help that every time I try to move, it tells me about how much AP it's gonna take to move there. There's R. Merciless. Is Merciless up twice? Oh, Order's right there. Shit. So, then we have POW done. Fuck, where was R? This is so confusing. Well, let's check this side. Oh, Righteousness right there. So, we would just need E. Okay, first things first, let's get Order. And then Righteousness. Then we'll try to figure out where E is. Valor, Grandeur, Fortitude, Authority, Ambition. Okay.
Moving to Orifice Manipulator.
I'll just wait. Empathy. Empathy's over on the left.
Hazardous concoction generator.
Okay, so I can move Walter over there to get empathy. And never mind, he's stunned. Fuck. I was gonna say, I'll probably finish it off on this turn.
Moving to bovine empathy simulator.
Or, you know, next turn. These puppets are so irritating. I really did think you could suck the source out of him and nothing would happen.
Moving to rapid descent.
I found for this part, having done this just last night with a group of 4, I have found that with 4 people, these guys kind of walk around a lot more and just dick around. It seems like with just me, they're a lot more focused, which I guess makes sense. I'm a fucking cow? And you're casting Death Resist. Great. Great. Forgot you had that spell. Do you even know Death Resist? I guess he does. Alright. Well, I don't suppose my Bone Widow can pull any levers, so... Wait a minute. Fane's out of combat. Or the Bone Widow's out of combat. What the fuck? This is so weird. Oh, I like how the cow still has wings even though I'm just polymorphed. What was that? He's like charging and summoning in shit. And... Jeez, dude, chill. God, the cow still hits hard. No, I know for sure you don't have haste. He's using my scrolls. How long does this polymorph last? Well, all the things are dead. I imagine that they're gonna be coming back though. They have to be, right? Where's my bedroll? Get that rest in. Okay, so E was over here. Fane, if you'd be so kind. Righteousness.
This lever works. I felt
And
something shift
order.
behind it. Something's happened. That must have been the last lever.
And that means that this door over here opens up for us to pass through. Look at this place, though. It's terrifying. We're in the middle of a mountain. This is under arcs. A volcano is under arcs. What the fuck?
You reach for your weapon, but as the small Voidwoken skitters forward, you get the sense that it's not here to fight. It looks at Fane, clicking and chittering in excitement, and introduces itself. Fane starts in shock. He knows it.
Say nothing, this is Fane's business.
The Voidwoken was a colleague from Fane's days at the Academy, his assistant. It claims it knows how to save the Eternals.
Well, that's exactly what Fane wants to do. If you didn't catch on to that, the Voidwoken are Eternals.
It promises Fane that if he can snatch the powers of the Seven, then he can restore his people. Not under the rule of the God King or the Void, they would finally be free. Fane turns away, pensive and quiet. Even as a skull, you can see the pain etched into his face.
You want to talk about it, Fane?
Do you know, this Ark's place doesn't look half bad. It's only about 1/3 bad, really. Maybe 2/5.
What about that
depending on the weather.
Voidwoken?
Important does not do it justice. She tells me there is a way to save my people. The power of divinity could bring them back. Not as monsters, but restored to their former glory. I could have my old life again.
Scratch his head. That's wonderful, Fane.
On the surface, yes. But what does that mean for, well, you?
I don't know.
The Eternals cannot be eternal without the source your god stole from them. No, if they return, they will reclaim their source. The source that was used to create you. If the Eternals come home to this world, we will live in it as your masters. You will be our slaves at best, our food at worst.
Well, shit. What are you gonna do?
I'm not sure. I need to think about this.
Remember, Walter is not trying to become a god here. Walter is here to support Fane.
It's just, they're my people. Although, well, so are you. I'm sorry. I can't talk about this right now.
Okay.
The
What?
truth hangs heavy upon the air itself, unspoken. This is the point of no return. Somewhere beyond this point, you shall be undone, or you shall ascend. There is no middle ground.
Step into your destiny. Let's go, boys! Well, this is it. Immediately knocked down. Good start, good start.
I'm
Okay.
here often. I don't know what you did, but you just released a source flood.
I'm a lady.
Thought I'd come and see what all the fuss was about. Should have known you were getting yourself into trouble. Looks like the big moment has finally arrived. I will do everything I can to support you, Godwoken. I will pray for you. I think you'll need it.
Well, I mean, as a paladin, faith goes a long way. So respond with gratitude. The prayer will inspire and strengthen you.
Don't underestimate the power of true prayer.
I'm not. I agreed with
This is
you.
a place of incredible power where a single prayer holds the weight of thousands. Your heart and soul will fill as quickly as they're drained. Consider it a taste of your divine future. Prayer will enrich you, and your disciples will empower you, strengthen you, and trust you in all ways to do only what is right. Of course, it's up to you whether or not to listen. I know how I'd respond, but you do you.
Melody wearily chuckles to herself, then bows her head in a show of unexpected but sincere reverence.
Looks like my investment's paid off after all.
I need worship, only one divine. And I believe he stands before me now.
No! How many times do I have to tell you guys I don't want to be divine?
You've shown me kindness in the face of my sins. My worship is the least I can offer.
Now go. Rivellon needs a new divine.
The way they're standing makes me think there could be one more person here. Fun fact, in the playthrough I did with my friends, Gareth was not here. Interesting. Very interesting. So, they have given us Revered. You feel the power of your allies praying to you. Their devotion is providing you with infinite source. Which means we could do things like Onslaught if we wanted, which doesn't do us too much good. Gain a 10% damage boost for every nearby character or totem, including yourself. The more the merrier. We could do that. The only one we currently have is our fireballs for Walter, but could we do anything else? Flaming Skin. You get immunity to fire. Learn. Oh, we don't have fucking. We don't have polymorph. We could do Black Shroud, Infect. Those would be for Fane, though, of course. Alright, I think I'm as ready as I'm gonna be, boys. Cryogenic Stasis might be good. We can use Steam Lance. Why not? Let's put Steam Lance up there as our last spell that we can learn. Releases a stream of blessed steam, which heals characters in its path and removes burning, necrofire, diseased, and decaying touch. Well, Fane, I do believe that it is now or never. And I do believe that you are ready as well. Let's give you another summon just to be on the safe side and dominate mind, because you never know when that could come in handy. Let's go, team. There he is. Lucien the Divine. In all of his glory.
Dallas told me about you. You must be as hard as diamonds and twice as bright to have come so far. Your Divine welcomes you.
Surprise.
Lucien frowns at the figure, then bestows a benevolent smile upon you. All that you know of him flashes across the panorama of your mind. You open your mouth to speak.
I underestimated you, Godwoken. You have proven to be a formidable foe. You have my respect.
Respect, indeed.
Lucien's gaze rests upon you and goes through you. He takes your measure entirely.
Lucien, we should tell the Godwoken the truth.
Yes, I agree. It is time we dropped our masks.
Dallas nods, then reaches for the sides of her head. Where there was one face, suddenly there are four. She takes off the mask of the shapeshifter.
Which the mask of the shapeshifter is what Fane found in Act 1 from Wendigo, which, by the way, I forgot to go back and talk to Wendigo, my bad, team. But, hey, you know what? This game's great. You should play it and get your own ending. You know what I'm saying? This is my ending, and I just forgot Wendigo existed for a minute. That means she has to be an Eternal. Otherwise, why would she be shapeshifting?
A skull is revealed, bejeweled and ancient as the void.
I am eternal.
Surprise, surprise.
I demand an explanation.
Fear not, Godwoken. Dallas is on the side of all that is good. She is helping me rid Rivellon of the influence of the Source. Listen to her.
I shall tell you the tale as I told it to Lucien. Long ago, the scholar Fane discovered that the veil between the world and the void was made of Source. Our 7 lords desired this power.
Good job, Fane. You're so smart.
Of course.
Silence, slave. Our king forbade the 7 to reach for this power, but they didn't listen. Instead, they rebelled and sent the king and his people into the void.
With the Source, they stole from the veil. The 7 created the races so they would have worshippers.
Ask why the 7 lords would even need worshippers.
During their lives, worshippers collect Source. When they die, the gods feed from them. It's an ingenious system.
Our souls are nothing but vats for the Source-hungry gods.
The 7 made a mistake. By taking its source, they tore a hole in the veil, and it is through this hole that the void finds its way into our world.
The 7's lust for power let in the void. Our goal is to close the hole they created, to restore the Source to the veil.
So the gods fucked up, the gods ate too much Source, And by eating the lining of source that surrounded our world, it allowed the Voidwoken to come into our world and start to terrorize it. It allowed the Voidwoken to attack sorcerers. And whenever source was used, the Voidwoken would show up. But if the Voidwoken are just Eternals, that means the Eternals, if they did come back, would probably also try to eat us as well, which sounds shit.
When we are done, there shall be no more source in the world.
Why would you betray your
No
fellow
more
Eternals?
gods, no more worship, no more war, no more chaos, no more demons, no more Voidwoken. Rivellon will have peace at last.
No more worship, no more gods, no more war, no more chaos, no more demons, no more Voidwoken. Yeah, I have to say, Lucien, I'm kind of on board with this, but why would Dallas betray the fellow Eternal? Sorry if I spoke over him. Sorry that I did speak over him.
My people cannot be allowed to return from the void. They are tarnished. They are Voidwoken. They can only bring chaos and death.
There is more, but she hesitates to share it. Then she decides that she must.
I was but a child when the war started. The king, in his fury, separated my family and scattered us across the world to be entombed. He did this because it was my father who gave the Seven the secret of the Veil, against the king's explicit instructions. Ironically, the king's punishment is what saved me from the void. Only a very few Eternals escaped banishment. Myself, my mother, Thane.
Did it say, and my father, Fane? Fane? Fane, you told me you had a daughter. You didn't tell me it was the fucking Dallas the Hammer. Are you kidding me?
Yes. Fane is
Yes,
my
she's kidding
father.
me. Oh, damn it. All right, Fane. All right, Fane. What do we do? What do we do, Fane?
What? No. It can't be. Everything Dallas did. It was all you. Child.
Everything I did to fix your mistake.
You know, with this new information that's come to light, I actually kind of agree with her there, Fane. It seems like you're the reason gods existed in the first place. Just kind of putting that out there.
Our people, every purged sorcerer, every dead magister, all those weeping families, they're on your head, father.
I kind of feel like you did that on your own. You didn't have to purge the source out of the... I don't know, you're losing me a little bit here, Dallas.
And now, in my mother's name and my own, I take my revenge on the king and the Seven. And to you, father, I offer the opportunity to atone for your sins. Did you even look for me, father?
You got a lot louder there.
Dallas, control your emotions. Our purpose transcends your personal wounds.
You are right.
Dallas has her reasons, as you can see. I seek peace for Rivellon, and for myself. Her ambitions align with my own, and I always believed the goal justifies the means.
Well, I mean, she definitely did whatever was necessary to get this fucking goal, that's for sure. So how did an Eternal become a general in the Divine Order?
During the war, the real Dallas found my tomb. I took her place and quickly realized that Lucien was the key to my vengeance. And I was the key to the salvation of Rivellon.
So, she's not the real Dallas. But she's been Dallas our entire journey, it seems like. Wonder how they intend to achieve their ambitions.
While Dallas sought the Eterran, I started draining the gods of their source.
Slurp, slurp, slurp.
This guy's weird.
One more word from you, and I shall use the leash.
I had to hide from the gods. So I had the walls of this crypt equipped with tenebrium, and protections put in place. It worked. Everyone, even the gods, thought me dead. As divine, I was created, empowered to stop the void. I was the avatar of the Seven, their strength and their weakness. My bond to them allowed me to drain them of their source.
Suggests that stealing the source from the Seven weakened the gods and allowed the Voidwoken to appear. I don't believe that. Ask about the slave. Whose face is that beneath the hood? Or bid him to continue. Yeah, whose face is that?
Maggot, I am no slave. I am Brachus Rex. I am the Source King.
Brachus Rex the Tyrant!
With a flick of her wrist, Dallis sends a jolt through Brachus's body. He writhes in pain.
He is but a tool. I used him to find the Ateran. When we are done, I will release him from his duty. I will free him from his pain.
Okay, so did you weaken the gods? Are we just skimming over the fact that that's Brachus fucking Rex? I guess so. All right. Nah, go ahead, continue, actually. I'm not even gonna bring up my point.
The Ateran now contains almost all of the source the Seven stole. Soon, we will be able to heal the Veil.
The void shall be banished, and I, Lucien the Divine, shall return from the dead. A false divine, of course. I shall have no power. But the world will not know this. I shall demand peace, and we shall have it.
Yo, I don't believe that for a second. The world won't know you have power? Look at you. Look at you right now. Lucien the motherfucking Divine. It is clear, no matter who looks at you, that you are just filled to the brim of source, of divine power, whatever you want to call it. It seems like by going down this path, we are trading one evil and opening up the doors to others. A vacuum will happen. Lucien the Divine will not have his power. Yes, he will return from the dead, quote, but he's just been hiding in this tomb for years. He'll return from the dead. And what happens if someone wants him to prove his divinity, to prove that he is still the divine, to prove that he still has his power? He won't be able to.
The plan is almost complete.
We have made so many sacrifices, Godwoken. All of us. Of ourselves and those we love. One last sacrifice is required. For the future of Rivellon. You must surrender your source.
I must surrender my source. The purging wands were used to rip the source out of sorcerers in Fort Joy, making them silent monks, making them brain dead. They had to sew their mouths shut so they couldn't speak and just drool everywhere because they were so mindless. They were literally told what to do and then did it. Am I actually going to become that? Or is it because a divine's doing it? Do you just kind of take it out of me?
Decide. Be the true hero and give up your source, or be forced to submit. Like a coward. Like...
There is no other way. The source of the world is required to close the veil. All of the source.
So all of the sorcerers are gonna die to get rid of the Voidwoken.
We only lack yours.
Oh god, it does render me a fucking silent monk. Mark that their plan means that there shall be no true divine. Note that giving up one's source renders one a silent monk, a husk of oneself, a non-being.
As I say, one last sacrifice is required. Yours.
So there's going to be no true divine.
Good. You understand.
The world shall not know this. I shall return from the grave, a divine without power, yet all who desire power shall fear me. I shall carry the secret of my lack of divinity. Peace shall reign.
I don't believe that. Note that Lucien's massacre of the masters and students of the academy wasn't really to aid Alexander, because Dallis blew up Alexander.
We already had more than enough Godwoken.
Another sacrifice I was forced to make. Those beautiful people. I was as kind as I could be. I promise you that.
How do you feel about Dallis attempting to murder your son?
Alexander was Godwoken. Once, years ago, I should have killed Damien. but instead took him as my son. Quite the mistake. Now I was forced to kill Alexander, my blood. But once more, I could not.
The task fell to me.
And me.
I guess I've heard enough.
Then let us proceed. Show some responsibility, Father! Surrender your source!
Sealing the veil will lock our people away forever. They will never be free of the void.
You're right.
Though if they return, what becomes of this world?
It would be massacred.
Fane turns to you. In all the time that you've traveled together, you've never seen him like this. He's trembling with emotion.
And you, my fellow adventurers. Together we have seen more than generations of mortals could ever see. You have seen the horrors of the void, and I have seen this world through your eyes. You showed me how beautiful it really was. There is no one else I would trust to make this choice. Whatever you decide, I will follow.
Oh, shit.
You'll be a hero. Everyone will know of the sacrifice you'll make. Your name will be synonymous with the survival of Rivellon.
Everything I've known my entire life has been a lie. The gods were only using me. I was not blessed by them. The Voidwoken are the Eternals that are just trying to regain part of themselves, but we are made to believe that they were just demons trying to eat all source. The Paladins themselves were corrupted and led by basically people supporting the equivalent of Satan.
Don't let them do this to us.
I thought you just said that. I thought you just said whatever I decide, you'll go with. I surrender my source for the good of all Rivellon.
Good.
Yes, very good.
She raises what looks like a leash. A chuckle emerges from beneath the cloaked figure's hood. The chuckle becomes a guffaw, booming and hateful. Dallis flicks her wrist, and nothing happens.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
How? What? The leash is cut!
A bright observation from a bilious imbecile. You know people often become sloppy when they're close to achieving their dream. You left the leashing wand next to me, you stupid maggot. So accustomed had you become to me, pretending to be your slave.
So that means Brachus Rex is the most evil person we've ever known in the whole world. His name has survived through eons, and now he's free and potentially could kill us. Good job, Dallis. Good job. You fucked up real good.
Kill him.
Do shut up, you tedious buffoon, and don't look so surprised, as if I would allow a bone bag to enslave me. Me!
He is a Source King reborn, and his name is Brachus Rex.
Brachus Rex, you ignorant dog. Brachus! I am the one true king of the Source. He who shall be god of the Source. It is time for my divinity! Or did you really think I'd play slavishly along with your ridiculous scheme, Dallis? Yes, I played my part of the servile stooge. But know this, it was only about the power of divinity.
Kill him. Now.
I want to, but we're still talking!
Too late, you mouldering, blight-stained pigs. Grant me power, my ally. God King, I call on you!
I'm going to laugh at Brachus. His naivety. The God King will never share rule. The Source King is doomed. Damn it.
You would interrupt Brachus Rex? You would interrupt the Source King? You shall redefine suffering.
Here we go. So who are we actually fighting? Only Brachus. Whoa, that's cool! We're only fighting Brachus. Isn't this amazing? Isn't this part of the game just amazing? I've never been in this position before. I've always...
My ally sends me a pet. What a fitting gift.
I've always been in a position that I was so far outnumbered here. But we actually have everyone working on our side because I said I would give up my humanity to save the world.
Ruling the world with a bloody fist can be lonely. I needed a companion. Come to your father, my pretty thing.
Oh, God.
Come to the Source King.
Oh, God. All right, well, we have a fucking Kraken to deal with now, boys. And that Kraken is spawning people from our past that have served, in this cult served to the God King. Isabel, or Isbil, then the Shallow Man, and Lord Kim. We just killed Lord Kim. He's been resurrected. Are they actually dead? They are. Or at least he is. And they're picking up the source on the way over here. He is so tanky. Okay, so I'm gonna beeline it straight for Brachus. I'm gonna head straight for him. He's the one we need to take down. He's the one that needs to die. There's a good solid swing to start this off. Dal's teleporting back. It's so cool to do this with allies. Dragon form. Every Eternal has dragon form. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. Okay, I'm gonna try to get in range with Walter and save enough AP for a good old, damn it. Okay, I can still move up, A good old shield throw. 3,000 damage right there, boys. Brachus almost completely out of armor right now. The end is in sight. Okay, we have Magisters moving up with me. A Geist moving up with me as well. Actually, that Magister didn't get very far. The Geist is teleporting up. And Brachus, he's looking a little low. Lucien, the Divine, casts blessing upon everything here. You know, maybe Lucien... Oh God, the Salaman's fast. Maybe Lucien was the one that all of my faith, all of my power actually came from this whole time. And we just assumed it was Rallic. In a misguided way. All right, Fane, you might actually be able to end this fight here. The thick of the fight, Fane, use it! Get a damage bonus for every nearby ally. Then, give yourself another turn. Immediately following this one, and completely enrage yourself, Fane. Dig into that anger and use it. This is the most damage Fane has ever had. We've seen him completely annihilate bosses before. Can he kill the legendary Brachus Rex in one fucking swing? He can. Oh my God. Oh my God. Fane, you're a monster.
Brachus Rex, the Source King of Legend, lies dead once more, perhaps even for good. Darius groans and looks to you with weakened eyes.
I have failed. The future of all that is rests on your shoulders.
Why does she feel like she's failed?
Well then, this is, as they say, it.
Yeah?
I never dreamed that after all this, I would be standing here with one of your kind, let alone that I would be proud to do so. I cannot imagine someone I would trust more with divinity, including myself.
You know, I think I do. I've been so disappointed with everything that's happened in this world. I've been lied to, I've been led astray. The gods should mean something. The gods should inspire faith like I had at the beginning of this journey. The gods should allow heroes to rise up and help defend the world. Instead, all we've done has been ripped apart, thrown aside by gods. I'm gonna do what's right, Fane. I'm gonna do what's right.
Fane lays a bony hand on your shoulder, squeezing gently.
Do you know, I believe you will.
You think back on your journey here, on all you have seen, on how the Magisters hunted sorcerers who committed horrible crimes, and purged sorcerers who only tried to heal the sick. You think of how the Eternals unleashed void-woken horror on the world in an effort to reclaim it. You look at the source around you. You know that within your reach is divinity. You think of what you could do with such power. Seeing the vast quantity of source in front of you, you think you should be able to handle a couple of void-woken. You think of your personal problems.
My personal problems don't matter.
It's time to make a choice that decides the fate of Rivellon and of you. Where do you stand?
I accept the power of divinity. I'm gonna do this the right way. I'm gonna do this the way that it should have been done this entire time. And I will use this power as responsibly as I can.
After all that you have been through, and all that you have done, all that you have become, the Aetheran lies in front of you. Divinity is yours to take, or to sacrifice.
But if we sacrifice all of the source in the world, then the Voidwoken will never kill another person again.
What you do next decides your own fate and the future of the world. What shall you do with divinity?
Oh my god, I didn't even know that was an option. Give the source back to all the peoples, release divinity into the world. When everyone is divine, no one is divine. Oh my god. Oh, I don't know what to do. Okay. If I become divine, then I am continuing this cycle of Voidwoken going after source. That continues. If I give everyone in the world source, then that continues. You know what? The gods lied to me. Ah! The gods have been just eating their worshippers. They've been devouring their worshippers. They've been taking divinity, what could be divinity, away from people. When everyone is divine, no one is divine. Or do we take source away and push the Voidwoken back? If everyone has the powers of gods, would they be able to defend themselves? These false gods, I put so much faith in the false gods anyway. Give the power, give the source back to all peoples. Release divinity onto the world. When everyone is divine, no one is divine. That's it. I did that. I did it. I committed. That would give people more power to fight back versus the Voidwoken. Have everyone on an equal playing field. And everyone has the power to help. Everyone has the power to mend, like the sorcerers that were being killed by the Magisters.
A tale that began with my own ill-fated attempt to rid the world of the Godwoken.
I hope I did the right thing.
When the dust settled, no new divine had risen. Instead, All source was released into the world for all the people and every creature to share.
Yeah?
Everyone was now a sorcerer.
Good.
And united, the peoples of Rivellon pushed back the God King into the very depths of the void.
Yes!
This ushered in a new golden age of peace and prosperity.
Oh!
But alas, it was not to last.
Oh!
With many greedy for wealth, power, and position, the struggle soon began anew.
Oh no!
Source, the very language of creation, was used in violence once more. The never-ending contest for power continued.
No.
As for me, my last hope of ever being freed of the God King's terrible tyranny faded when the Godwoken failed to seal the veil. An eternity of pain and suffering is mine, in service of the King, until the day I am freed, the day the God King returns.
Oh no. What now?
Malady stands tall and proud, sunlight sparkling off her mask. From here she looks almost angelic.
Well, here we are again. You, me, and the ship I've saved from ruin for your personal benefit. I'd say you owe me, but why state the obvious? Get an eyeful. I expect it's the last we'll see of each other for some time. I've a lot of planning to do. Now that there's not to be a new divinity.
She drums her fingers testily on her crossed arms.
All that work, all that effort, tossed into the gutter like a malformed child.
Well, at least for now, I know that there's peace. At least for now, I feel like I did the right thing. And I made everyone equals rather than chasing after tyrants of gods. And I do feel as though that I did the right thing. Tried to do the right thing. Tell her that the world's better off without an almighty tyrant.
You say that now. Let's see how you feel when you realize the true implication of a world filled with sorcerers. Never mind. I'll find another way. I always do.
She fingers the mask, covering her face. For a moment, it seems as though she's about to remove it. But instead, she places a hand on your shoulder.
We've come a long way together. I did my best by you all the way. Sacrificed much. And I'd have given even more to see you fulfill your destiny.
She looks you up and down.
I guess this will have to do. Take a moment, why don't you? Relax. Enjoy. I certainly plan to do the same.
Where are you planning on going?
Oh, I don't know. Around and about. Treat myself to some mead, a lover or 300. I'd say we've earned it. Perhaps our paths will cross again. Perhaps not, until we find out.
Is that the Red Prince? It is. They didn't get very far. Where's my Fane? So many spirits on our ship. Ifin, Sebel. Where's Fane? Where is he? There he is. Back to his books.
Fane is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He leafs through it slowly, muttering to himself.
I see. Intriguing.
He glances up at you, big, empty eye sockets taking in every detail.
Well, well, there you are. Another fine specimen of your kind. A little leaner than when we first met. And a little less divine than you'd hoped, I imagine.
It would have been nice to have been a divine.
Indeed it would.
Fane looks back down to the book, a bony finger running across the embossed leather cover.
It could have been different, you know? I could have saved them. I could have found a way.
Maybe he could, but he didn't. So Thane, you're sorry, I can't imagine what you're going through.
No, I imagine you can't. I imagine no one can. But the cards were dealt, and my people got snake eyes. Or something. I never took the time to learn how the average Rivellonian entertained themselves. Then again, you are no average Rivellonian. Not after this. So, what do you think you'll do now that we live in a world of minute divines?
We're going to carry on our adventure, of course. Pretty good at this.
Of that, there can be no doubt. I'm sure the bards will sing of your heroics for generations.
Wonder if he'd like to see more of this world. No, ask Fate if he'd be interested in a little more adventure.
The skeleton hefts Hubert's dog-eared encyclopedia, its weight heavy in his hands.
I've been rereading this book, looking over your history once again, poring over every detail with a new perspective, and do you know what? It's shit.
Thane tosses the book over his shoulder. It flutters in the air as it sails over the ship's railing and disappears with a faint splash.
If you have spent your life staring at a thing, you can write about it with knowledge. You can write about it with love. But it is almost impossible to write about it with wonder. You creatures have spent your lives trudging about this world, and you've grown blind to its miracles.
Look at him quizzically. What do you mean?
Simply that to see the true beauty of a thing, sometimes you have to look at it as an outsider. As someone with fresh eyes, if you will. Take otters, for example. Energetic, waterproof cats, utterly beautiful creatures. Or octopuses. Did you know they're secretly
I love octopuses.
Octopuses? Octopi? Octopods?
Octopi.
I shall have to look that up. Regardless, the world is filled with absolutely incredible sights. And who better to catalogue them with the awe they deserve than someone seeing them for the first time?
I agree with that. So you can't imagine anyone better for the job.
Ah, finally. You're right about something.
Thane nods curtly and turns away, notebook in hand.
All right. Hey, hand.
I feel weird. Like I've got ants crawling in my belly. There is a matter I must attend to, however. My payment for all the stuff I've done for you. That'll be...
He taps his fingers and mouths silently while he counts, until he arrives at an acceptable figure.
1,300,000 dozen and 50 gold pieces. Now pay up.
I've literally used you for one thing, Han. I got a better idea.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Tell me he's a true warrior, and I'm gonna need you as a bodyguard.
Han ponders your suggestion for all of a second.
You got it. Everybody better watch out. Han'll get you if you come too close. But you better believe the bill for that will be a doozy.
Gareth, are you here? Gareth's over here. The former Seeker. He's been with us through a lot. A whole hell of a lot.
I'm buzzing. I don't know how else to describe it. But what you did, I want to say it was brave. Maybe it was, but it wasn't right.
Gareth is still. For a moment, his mind wanders to memories of friends and enemies, of malady and magisters, of demons and divinity. He is then present once more, though hardly animated.
The people of Rivellon will call you their savior. The power is in them, in all of them. And there will come a time when they rebel, and the price will be high.
I will try to lead the people true.
A meaningless promise. You've blessed them and cursed them with a single choice. You didn't reveal your altruism. You revealed your greed.
My greed?
Power will be shared among the evil and the good. The light and the dark. The sky and the earth. They will enjoy equal source light, yes, but they will not be equal. I find a way to fit. I wasn't just content to lurk in Lucien's shadow. I was his shadow. Now I stand in the sun as my own man. I just don't know who that man is. So I find out, on my own away from the storm that surely comes. The God King is defeated, but the door to the void is open. left there by the man I once thought would be divine.
I'm sorry, Gareth. Fuck! I did my best. Tarquin, you brought Brachus Rex back. Fuck you. Melody, take me out of here.
Don't you have somewhere else to be?
Are we? How do we? Are we just sailing away? What's Tarquin have to say?
Source of all, eh? A bold move, I'll grant you that. I didn't think anyone considered the little people anymore.
Ask him what he thinks of the new world that you helped usher into existence.
I don't know yet. Perhaps peace will reign and all will be equal. Or perhaps you've bestowed great power on undeserving children and turned them loose on each other. Time will tell, I'm sure.
What are you gonna do now?
That is the question, isn't it? How does one top the greatest feat of necromancy ever conceived? I might have the answer to that. Tell me, have you ever heard of Gustafjan? No, of course you wouldn't. It's a written language, unreadable to most, but myself naturally. It comes from a mysterious race from another world, beings that feed on minds. I intend to seek them out. This Gustafjan seems to guard portals to their realm. And once I've uncovered one, well, why settle for being the greatest mind in just one world when there's another for the taking?
Yeah, it seems about right.
It gives me almost as much pleasure to speak to you as it does to be whole again.
I bet. Being broken up into 1,000 pieces and have your soul lost in limbo must have not been very fun. Remark that it's good to see her. The Lady Vengeance has been a very dependable ally.
I will always be an ally to those that carry swords, to those whose blood is of the heroes of old. And so, as always, I am at the ready.
Not silently. It's time to depart.
You look out to the endless beyond. The sun's light plays upon the waves, just as it always did. The sails flutter in the wind, just as they always will. And yet, something is different. You are different. And with a start, you realize where you must go next. You speak the command to the Lady Vengeance, and another chapter begins. The world was at peace, at least for now. With its significance as the seat of divinity diminished, Arx fell into decline, and within 7 generations had emptied. Few were as prepared for the new world as the lizardkin of the ancient empire. With power spread equally throughout the world, the advantage lay with those who knew how to steal it, and at this the lizards excelled. Justinia returned to her throne. Under her rule, the Dwarven kingdom prospered, until 2 years later a jealous lover stabbed her in the heart with a mutton fork. With their power returned, the elves reclaimed their lands from the Death Fog and began to rebuild. Soon they would split as 2 factions sought power, one to bring back the trees, the other to bring back the scions. A dwarven joke did the rounds. It ends with the punchline, "So Lucien dropped the Death Fog on them again." And in a dark forest on the far side of a desert, well beyond the high seas, the Black Ring came together once more. The island of Fort Joy, the old redoubt of the Source King Brachus Rex, was turned over to the people of Driftwood to use as they wished. They turned it into a holiday resort. Reaper's Coast prospered. The fisheries returned, and the fertile farmlands produced the greatest harvests the surviving farmers had ever seen. Blood Moon Island became particularly fecund, its soil producing the greatest crops. A particularly crimson-fleshed orange grown on the island became a delicacy across half the world. The black pits took fire. The oil there burns still. Driftwood became a centre of industry, trade, and transport. Lohar the dwarf became mayor. His time in office was cut short by an unfortunate wound that spontaneously appeared on his neck.
Spontaneously, of course. No one did it.
Lagan left his over-demanding wife and began a relationship with a local bard.
Good for
you. In
you.
the spirit of loving generosity, he returned the ring to his now ex-wife.
Oh,
in a fit of rage, she threw it into the sea.
That was the guy we helped in Act 2 get his ring out and the Voidwoken attacked.
You would never forget Dorothea's kiss. Dorothea herself left Driftwood for the ancient empire, ever in search of the perfect kiss.
She was the one.
She never found it.
She was the
although
one.
Once or twice, she came close.
She was the spider. The spider in disguise.
The nameless isle had vanished. Although only open water remained, by instinct ships would steer clear. None of the captains could articulate why. Millennia later, adventurers would come in search of the legendary divine city of Arx and the crypt of the great Lucien. None would pass the path of blood. Sir Gareth thanked the surviving Seekers for their service and gave them their freedom. Disillusioned with the rising chaos, he set out alone to find a new purpose. He would never stop seeking. Young Han went into the theatre and became one of the realm's most popular actors.
Good for you, Han.
With no new divine, Malady found herself in a predicament. She had an important problem to solve, but no ally strong enough to call upon, and so her search continued. Having performed the greatest act of necromancy in history, Tarquin found the new world unchallenging. He became obsessed with rumors of another plane of existence. One day he vanished and was never seen again. With Amadia silent, the priestess Gratiana left the swamps and re-entered the world. With more undead than ever before, she founded an abbey in the Dragonspine Mountains, offering them shelter from hatred and fear. Jehan the demon hunter found himself at a loose end. So, he opened a museum of demonic artifacts.
Oh, that's cool.
After it burned down, with Jehan inside, witnesses claimed that the flames were the color of blood.
Well, shit. Not as cool.
As the forests grew anew and the elves were equals at last, Sahala shared elven knowledge of source with the world. But some elves disagreed and plotted against her.
Sahala was the elf we helped in Act 1.
Chief amongst her opponents was Tova, Sahala's own mother.
What?
As Source flooded Rivellon, Fane set out to record everything he could of this new world. As he travelled, he kept a socket peeled for signs of the Eternals, hoping to find the wife he'd lost. He's still looking. And then there was you. You returned to the world a sorcerer among many. Your future was yours to decide. Did you accept your new status with humility? Only you know the truth. Only you know if you atone for your sins.